So we are focusing on managing those pennies now. And I know sometimes it can really feel like pennies and where is the money going? Well, we have started a session to hopefully help you be able to deal with that and know exactly where the money is going. We have called in the expert. Crystal Howell is with us again this morning. Remember, she is a chartered professional accountant and a certified internal auditor. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Cassandra.
Great to have you here again.
Thank you for having me back.
All right, so we intend to make sure that everybody feels like a financial management expert by the time you get through with them.
I'm hoping so.
All right, so we're going to do a little recap on the spreadsheet situation we've been looking at.
Yes. So if you've been following, you would have been documenting your expenses, however often you determined that you will be doing so. You've been writing everything down. You would have accumulated your monthly expenses and you've begun your analysis to be able to see exactly where your money is going, whether it's on food, gas, utilities, etc. We've also done a comparison from month to month so you can see where the fluctuations in your expenses happen. We've also done a cash reconciliation so that you can compare what cash you think you have to what cash you actually have and be able to pick up where you may have missed something in your documentation.
All right, you mentioned keywords. Let's get those keywords again. Reconciliation was one of them. Before
Yes.
that, you said?
Before that, I did monthly analysis. So you would have been looking at your fluctuations to see if your extra money that you're spending on, for instance, gas is because you've been traveling more or because gas went up. If your food bill has gone up because food prices have gone up, or you've been eating more, or you're now have an additional mouth to feed, you start to get an idea of why your money is disappearing when you start to do the comparison and the analysis. And it also gives you opportunities to be able to see what you may or may not be able to cut back on.
All right, there you go.
Yes.
Okay.
So now that we have done all of that, and we have all of our spreadsheets in place, we now have one of our final tabs. We have two final tabs. We have our Mavis budget.
Okay.
So what this will do is to bring everything together so you'll be able to start looking at where your money is going to be going in the short and long run.
Okay.
So I have here, if you pull up on the spreadsheet on the screen, you will see that I have what my total cash and savings would be.
And this is the Mavis budget, the
This
Mavis
is-
spreadsheet
yes.
that we're looking at.
Yes. We have the cash that you have in your hand, what you have in your bank account, and then what I estimate that I'm going to spend every month. So looking at that, you will see that for the month, I have almost $3,000 left to
It's
spend.
gone. Okay.
So based on that, I will also have the money that I have in my savings, and you will have what your total cash and savings would be. You have what you expect you will be getting in your hand for income. And sometimes that might happen where you have, say, a land tax return. Some people do have those. Sorry, an income tax return. You might have a loan that you would have given out to someone that you would hopefully be able to get back. And then I also have here documented all the future expenses that I need to make sure that I plan for. So you have your car insurance that helps you to be able to say, okay, in November, I need to make sure that I have $900
For that car insurance.
for that car insurance, so it's not a surprise. I put the
Right.
month and the year.
You even have new curtains for Christmas in there.
That's the under the nice to have.
nice. That's an option.
That's an option. So
you
if
don't-
once I take care of my must-do items, I will then be able to see what I have left back for my nice to have, because you still want to be able to have something to look forward to that's not just you being an adult and taking care of your adult needs. You want to be able to have something to look forward to. So if for Christmas you feel as though you need to have curtains, put it in your budget.
Okay. But remember that it's under nice,
Nice
to
to
have.
have.
So if you can't have it for whatever reason, whatever
Yes.
dynamics may change,
Correct.
remember that's something that money you could also utilize for something urgent
Yes.
that may come up, and put that back on the nice to have for the following year.
Yes.
Okay.
It is disappointing when things have to come off my nice to have list. I've had crop over events that came off my nice to have list, broke my heart, but it's all part of adulting.
Yeah.
And that is the reality. We have to make sure that you take care of your future self and not give yourself that anxiety by not being prepared for the things that have to be taken care of in your life.
Okay, so the Mavis budget was based on how much money per month?
This, well, as I would have had in the earlier spreadsheets when we were looking at the savings each month, I would have been saving $500 each month. So this would be the accumulation of that savings and my current salary or income. So you would have had, say, the bank account is usually where your salary would go and what you would use to pay your expenses on a regular basis. The credit union I use personally, this is not an endorsement.
This is just your reality.
This is just what I use. I like it because I have the Premier plan, and you can't just go to the ATM and withdraw money from the Premier plan.
Right.
So it has to be very important that I would get into my car, go down to the credit union and stand up in the line to go and get this money. It helps you to not just take it up and spend it frivolously.
Good point.
Yes.
Okay, and maybe what interest is decent?
The interest at this point, the Premier plan fluctuates, so depending on where you are in the 5-year term, your interest rate, mine is right now at 3.25%, and it goes up from there, and then when it gets to the 5th year, you then start over.
Okay.
So there are options out there.
Okay.
There's Globe Finance. There are other alternatives.
Yeah. Other investment instruments, and you may think, oh, I can't invest, but saving is still an investment. It's a safer kind of investment.
Yes, so that is the one we'll talk about this week, because there are other options, and as you go down the line, and I correct myself, it's Signia Globe Finance. There are other options that will be a bit more risky, but you know what they say, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, or the bigger the failure. So you have to bear that in mind as well.
Yeah. And it's interesting, as you mentioned that, there was something that you talked about as well earlier. Where you even included hoping that you get back money that you loaned someone. If you lend someone money, should you be expecting it back?
I tell people, only lend what you can afford to lose.
Right.
Because
Just
if you don't get it back, you're not put in a position where you are experiencing hardship for yourself. Because the likelihood in these times, if a person has borrowed money, which you will hope they pay it back, that they're honest, especially if they do have the means to do so, that they would pay it back. But if they don't, you don't want to be in a position where you are yourself now scrambling and can't make ends meet.
Okay, what do we need to know? What else do we need to know today?
Okay, today,
as we go through the spreadsheet here again.
yes, so when I come down to I have all of my must-do items, I have my nice-to-have. You're using what available cash you would have seen on the left-hand side of the spreadsheet to be able to see, based on what you have, how you'll be able to manage with your must-do items and your nice-to-have. So if you look, it's there on the screen. You will see for my must-do items, I am a bit short in being able to get everything done. And I have there that it will take me approximately 3 months if I'm saving at $500 to be able to meet everything that I have to do. And given that this is June, if I go to July, August, September, I actually do have barely enough room to be able to manage, and everything is not going to have to be paid all at once. But at least this helps me to see if I am on track to be able to cover the things that I have planned for the rest of the year.
And it can be done.
And it can be done. And if you're in a position where it cannot, we'll discuss hopefully next week what you will have to do if you're doing all of this, you're cutting your expenses, but your savings just isn't enough for you to get everything that you want to do done.
Yeah, like you can only cover bills and then try to make it to the next.
Exactly.
So, but there is hope for people who want to turn that situation around.
There is hope. It's not a quick fix, as I will keep reiterating. It is not a quick fix. It's a long-term plan, but it is one that will hopefully set you with a proper foundation.
Excellent. Crystal, we appreciate your expertise. And you know what? We're looking forward to next week's session where we get to talk some more. We're going to look at other investment instruments as well as we go along, so you understand how you can make your money work for you maybe.